Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. How you guys doing out there tonight? We are back on another Tuesday, and we have a powerful lesson today. Good to see you guys out there today. All praises be to the Most High. Yep, I'm coming in from that beautiful, sorry about that, from that beautiful garden. You understand, and yeah, we're going to be talking about that soon again, because I'm going to tell you, it's a lot to learn, you know, for people out there when it comes to that. Okay, but tonight we'll be talking about, do you want to be healthy or not? Part 2 of the copper, because we did not get to go into the rest of chapter 2 with this beautiful book that we were reading last week. And let me get the title of that book again. Cure Your Fatigue. Cure Your Fatigue. Okay? So you know about copper. Now, what do you do about it? And the reason I'm asking that question is because there are scriptures that can back up that question. What do you do about it? Like Christ said, the kingdom is in you. Okay, if you want to know what I'm drinking today, you go to KIIYsupplements.com and you can get you some. I have in here our beautiful fungus mushroom powder, and it tastes amazing. My mushroom powder, you could just put it in there and drink it right with your water. It does not taste disgusting. We have a natural bitter blocker in there. I have also my electrolyte formula in there. Okay, a little bit of pre-workout because I've been working out all day in that sun in that garden. And I have a few other things that's in there from our site as well. And I'm going to tell you, it is on point. A little bit of my magnesium powder to relax me after a long day. Man, this is it right here. And if you're having a hard time drinking water, this is perfect for you because you're getting good things for your gut. You're getting electrolytes, and it tastes amazing. It tastes like some lemonade. If you want to add some little lemon in there, cool. Once again, if you want that, go to KIIYsupplements.com. Okay? So what are you going to do about it? Well, we're going to talk about it tonight. All right? Before I go in, let me make a quick announcement, because lots of people may come on this show who we may not know, new people, and I don't want them to miss our Sunday Hebrew and Bible Academy after our Sabbath class. Okay? Why would I want somebody to miss something so beautiful? Okay? So we have our Hebrew and Bible Academy on historytimes.org for those of you who are new, who don't know about it. Okay? The other one started at March 29th. Okay, usually it's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're teaching ancient Hebrew. Nothing against the Yiddish, but they're teaching ancient Hebrew, the original language that the Most High intended for his people to speak. Once again, nothing against any other nation, but the truth is the truth. The so-called Native Indians, blacks, are the real people of the Bible, and they spoke Hebrew. You can find it in their burial grounds. Not too long ago, they were talking about they were finding ancient Hebrew in Puerto Rico, one of the lost tribes, the tribe of Ephraim. It's in the Mexican burial grounds, the Native Indians, the tribe of Gad, the Mexicans, the tribe of Issachar. Okay? So in this academy, you learn all about these types of things. Who are all of these people in the Bible? Who are all of these nations? Where do they come from? What are they about? What are they doing now? Where are they? What's their future prophecies in the Bible? Okay? All nations. Okay? You look at the Bible more as a religious book, that's one thing. But I'm going to tell you, it's really a historical book with a plethora of knowledge. And they're not teaching it right, no offense, in a lot of the Christian churches. I'm not saying all of them, but I have to be honest. This is why people are running from that, because they're running and they want some truth, okay? So don't miss out on what everybody is talking about, all right? The Hebrew and Bible Academy at historytimes.org. This theme this time was uncovering the past, Bible's history and chronology. All right? Check it out. The fall and rise of Israel. This is what the Bible is about, if they didn't tell you. Yeah, you can be a good Christian. You can love Jesus. All that's good. But that's not the whole truth. That's not the whole gospel that Christ came to teach. On top of that, Christ himself was from the tribe of Judah. What you call today, what they call modern day, which is low level, a Negro man or a black man, because Negro means black. This is the truth. This doesn't mean white people are bad. This is just the truth. They don't have cotton hair like it says in the Bible. They don't have woolly hair. They are not the color of brass even before it's burnt. They do not have the red blood vessels in the eyes when they get angry like a black man. That's not who they are, and it's okay. They still can receive, all right, everlasting life if they repent and turn away from their forefathers' sins, no different than what we had to do, because we are in this position because of our forefathers, okay? So I just wanted to bring that out really quick as a side note for those who may be new. The lost books of the Bible. There are other books in the Bible. I like to give this simple example. The Bible talks about, is this not written in the book of Joshua and 2 Samuel? It tells you to go to another book, extra biblical texts. We go through all of the extra biblical texts and what the Most High have blessed us with and the knowledge you have blessed us with, okay? And it's profound knowledge that have been studied and dealt with for years, okay? The bones have already been spit out. Not that we can't continue to learn and grow. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm going to tell you, you have to come in to see yourself, okay, for only $50 a month for 3 months. A historical background of the Gospels. A historical background of the gospel, bringing you all the way back into the history, how the gospel started, what Christ intended for, how he left it upon Peter and the disciples, and where it is now, what we should be doing. Okay? Next, the secrets of the times, one of my favorites. Boy, you can't be a watchman if you don't understand the Sabbath, the Jubilees, the holy days, the intercalary days for the 364-day calendar in the book of Enoch. You must understand these things to actually be able to watch and pray. Okay? From Noah to Moses to Christ. Set time and jubilees for these powerful men that the Most High used to come in the earth. Okay? From Noah, where the flood was, to Moses delivering the children of the promise through the hands of Christ. Okay? The Most High doesn't need to leave the throne. He used his son, Yeshua, Christ. And then Christ came into the earth to finish his part. To fulfill his part. And then he will come back again to finish. Okay? So man was promised 120 jubilees. You times that by 50, you get 6,000 years. And then the time must be cut short. Come into the Hebrew and Bible Academy to learn what this is all about. This is very important, okay, that you understand this. So, not only that, you get powerful news, world news, because I lived overseas, and what I understand is that a lot of times we had to explain the actual news that was going on overseas because America was always showing something different. No different than the war that's going on over there. It's, you know, it's you know, it's a lot of confusion, you know what I mean? And it's not a lot of clarity. So we come in with, you know, a brother, an elder, my friend, my brother, Elder Rawchaa comes in and gives you powerful news. Not only news about war, but news about what's going on with laws and bills and things around the world. We have something called Sodom Watch to make sure our children are protected, to see, you know, to warn everyone of what's going on. And you know what's crazy, guys? Before we go into the lesson, I don't want to fail to mention that there's a lot of schools closing. Yeah. And you know, we're broadcasting from Houston right now, and a week ago there was something that came out and said that there is, I think, was it like 5 or 6 schools closing, and they were, and this is a nationwide thing going on, because they said it's a pattern that's going on nationwide. Really though, this is something that kind of is going to fall right into their hands. You remember we were talking about the metaverse, you know, and they're bringing a lot of these sodomitish ways inside of the school, witchcraft. They're forcing children, you know what I mean, in a sense, or provoking them in such a sense to, or manipulating them, should I say, to put chemicals and shots and things in their arms, vaccines and things like that, allegedly, according to the news. And so I don't know if it could be a little bit of both. Okay, it could be they're planning to do it, or they're just promoting it and it's not happening and they want people to do it. But I still see people actually taking their children out of a lot of these schools and homeschooling their children, because not only that, the college debt thing is kind of like the curtains are open on that now. People can't even get jobs when they're going to these universities anymore. So it's very hard to get a job nowadays. I'm just, you know, the abomination that make it desolate, these robots and this artificial intelligence, everything will be empty. The abomination that make it desolate doesn't only mean one thing. Everything will be empty of people because the artificial intelligence will take over. This antichrist system. Oh, that company's closed. That company's closed. The abomination that make it desolate. Okay, it's their whole system. You will own nothing, and you will owe nothing, because they will buy everything, and then all you have to do is take the mark of the beast. You see how Elon Musk is actually now promoting, which we know. I mean, I remember even before the truth that I was like, listen, they're going to be doing exactly what Elon Musk is saying. I was saying some of this stuff verbatim. Oh, people are going to get healed from blindness. They're going to be doing this and this and that. Why? Not because I'm deep, because the Bible already said that they were going to push these type of miracles. All right. Is it a coincidence how all of a sudden they're putting out the 2020 thing that, you know, it was wrong? And guess what? Now they have to come with some type of cure. But really what that's going to do is enhance what they have already put in place as a foundation to exalt it even more. So stay tuned. And this is why you want to be in this, because we talk about all of these powerful things in here. Okay? And you can call in and ask questions. All right? So you get free PDF booklets. This helps to support our work, our church, to continue to spread this gospel. All right? So thank you for your time for that. I wanted to put that out there. But I do want to go into a scripture. Now that we know about copper, what are we going to do about it? Is the question. So I want to go to Mark 9:23 really quick, talking about faith. Faith. me get it really quick. Mark 9 and 23. Let's go to 22. I'm going to put it on the screen for you guys. Let's look here. Verse 22 says, we're at Matthew 9 and 22. But Yeshua turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy fate had made thee whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour. Now, why am I specifically going into this? Because we're talking about, like a lot of my lessons, I like to teach us to be proactive, because that's what Christ taught. Be proactive. He said, how shall you glorify my Father? By bringing forth much fruit. We can't bring forth fruit if we're sick, going through things. And it's the job of the shepherds and the teachers to try to preach the gospel, right? Preach about, through different ministries and all different types of aspects that may fall from wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of this Bible, to help our people to come out of the valley of dry bones, to continue to bring forth more works. But we must be healthy. We must be alive to do it. We must be alive to do it. Not only that, we've been taught to have faith in a system that have failed us. Doctor, I had you on medication, and guess what? I am not telling you what not to do. I'm telling you what I see and what we know we see and what we witness every day. A doctor will have you on medication for like 20 plus years. Some people need to be on it that long. Some people don't. I don't know. There's different situations. But why am I saying it? I'm saying it because we will have faith in, you understand, a wolf in sheep clothing. Some of them who are like that. All doctors are not wolf in sheep clothing, but some of them are like that. They won't even say, hey, are you taking this? Are you taking that? Those things that are necessary for the body. They will just, hey, try this medicine. Right? Now, the Most High made the herbs in the earth for meat. Not talking about eating them instead of meat. No one puts a bunch of mint or anise or a bunch of oregano in a bowl and put some salad dressing and start eating it. We got to stop that. We have to stop this nonsense. Okay? Sorry. There's no amino acids in these plants like they told you. And some of the plants they have that. But not no herbs. Okay? And they will be too much for your gut. They will burn your stomach line. It is so, mint alone can do that. But what I'm saying is using them in the way that they were meant to be used to heal the body is what God intended. And if we were using them without tainted guts, the body would absorb them better than today. Today, a lot of people's guts are not in order from different types of new Western world diets. So that's why the herbs will work a little bit slower. You can take a livestock, for example. When you give them something, their gut will absorb it more faster than ours because they're not eating processed foods. This is why a lot of the herbs work a lot slower and why you have to be more consistent. But today, we will go into more about the copper and how, from last lesson, how deep it was. We still won't touch the tip of the iceberg today. I'll have to, in a few weeks, come back again. And that's what I will do because I want you guys to have this information to be as healthy as you can. I want you to. Okay? So I brought this scripture out because the first thing he said was what? Right? She was going through an issue of blood on her cycle. Sometimes people's cycles, sisters' cycles is off and on. The Most High said that sisters would suffer these things when Eve sinned. And not only that, now we have things like what probably was going on with this sister, thyroid issues, hormone issues. Okay? So instead of having a miracle right now, we have the actual herbs to deal with it. Now he told her, he said, listen, But Yeshua turned about, and when he saw her, he said, "Daughter, be of good comfort." Calm down. It's okay. Have your mind right. Everything Christ was trying to tell us starts in our mind. If you believe, you shall receive. You shall achieve. Your faith had made you whole. Your mindset. What's in here made you whole, woman. What's in here made you whole. So modern day today, the same energy you give that doctor is the same energy you need to give some of these herbs. Now, some of you can't just, we taught many lessons like this where you have to wean yourself if you want to. I am not the doctor to tell you that. We're just putting out information, general information. If you want to wean yourself, for example, off of something, it's a transition. It's not, I'm just going to cut this off today. Something happened to you. No. All of this have something to do with faith. It's going to take dedication, discipline. It's not going to be easy. Okay? So what I'm telling you with this information being brought out, it's going to take some people having faith, knowing that you got to take something for at least 3 weeks to see significant results. Usually 30 to 90 days. And then in your body, it's just like the ground. Once the gut gets used to things and is slowly starting to metabolize and process things, here we go. Now it's starting to work. No different than a fruit tree that just was, you was like, what's going on with this fruit tree? 2 to 3 years later, the thing started just taking off. The ground is like the gut. The roots needed to get used to the whole ecosystem, the new type of soil, the bacteria, the fungi. It needed to get used to this. Our gut works the same way. We're made from the ground. All right. So before we go into what we're going to go into about copper again, okay, very profound lesson. Very profound lesson. If you haven't watched last week's lesson, you need to go watch it, because you're not going to get the information today that was put in the show last week. I had people calling me and stuff even after the show. This number is for the show only, not to call me personally. It's just for the show. So if you don't call in, I mean, just call in again the next show. It's just for the show. All right. Sometimes some people may send a text or whatever, and if I have time to answer it, I will. But it's not, if I tell you to call in, don't wait later and just try to call because you're shy. It's for the show. All right. So let me get my next scripture here. Let me see. Matthew 15 and 28 before we go into it. Yeshua again. Matthew 15 and 28, talking about health. Faith. Let me see. Let me see which part I want really quick. There we go. Start at verse 27, Matthew 15 and 27. And, okay. As a matter of fact, 24. Christ is talking to a woman of another nation here. Her mind could have gotten emotional. She focused on the prize. Her mind could have gotten emotional because he was just being real. She focused on the prize. Thank you for your donations and things like that. We appreciate you guys. She focused on the prize. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So it's like us street preaching in modern day today. We're really trying to go and focus on our people because I don't have anything. But if a person comes along in the midst of us doing that, we can't shun them from God's mercy, God's grace, his gift to you understand? Now, we understand that salvation belongs unto the Jews, to the Jew first and also to the Gentile. But she had faith, like, listen, yeah, I totally understand and I respect that, but I got faith that you can heal me. She focused on the prize. Sometimes we miss that because of our emotions. And so he's like, hold up, this Gentile, even though I told her real like that, knowing how her people is and the gods and the idols they worship. Let's read what he said here. But he said, answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. So she asked him again, please. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to the dogs. Okay, why? Because these other nations purposely worshiped other gods. But she insists on continuing to ask, which Christ had compassion upon her, because it was out of the ordinary to do such a thing in old times. Then Yeshua, and I'm going to tell you why. Even when you go overseas today, you're going to meet a few nice people, not a lot. They call us black dogs. Let me tell you, they call us the N-word. So in Christ's time, it was worse. Okay? But there was always a few of the Gentiles who still cling to our people, as always. Then Yeshua answered and said unto her, O woman, well, hold up. I didn't get this part, 27. And she said, true, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from the master's table. Whoa! I wish some of our sisters could be like that. Right? And because they're of the chosen seed, humble, don't miss the prize. Some sisters forgot when they used to be alone, didn't have nothing, and they get that man in the house. He's not perfect as ever, but guess what? Hey, you can be alone somewhere and not have nothing. I'm not saying you should be with a man just because of that, but appreciation. She appreciated that. She's like, listen, I will take the crumbs. And you know, for a man, if you a man, you already know. You know, if you're a true man of God, you don't need to go all out and act all crazy to get a woman's attention. She's going to do it if she truly wants to. But this sister caught Christ's attention like, hold up. Some of our sisters don't even be doing that. Hold up. I need to heal this sister. And she said, once again, truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat from the crumbs which fall from the master's table. Then Yeshua answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. Just the same way your mind is, you can have everything that you asking for. Because that's rare. That's rare. And you know, Christ just had the same attitude, no different, you know, than Malcolm X or any man of the Most High. Like, he's like, hold up. We need to talk about what we're going to get when there's another president in office. We need to talk about what we're going to get for black people, Israelites of the Bible. We don't want to talk about other people because they good. That's the mindset that Christ had. But when she was humble, what does the scripture says? God gives grace to the humble and resists the proud. So he had to make sure she wasn't coming like the rest of her people with a proud situation, trying to use the Most High's resources, spiritual resources here, because that's what a lot of them do. No different than what you understand that brother in Acts. I think it was Simon where the demons jumped on him. You can't play with the Most High's spiritual resources. So why am I bringing this out? The information that comes out when I'm teaching and when we're teaching, it's according to your faith on how it's going to be applied in your life. Are you going to take it and study and go and use it? Are you going to be consistent with it? Or are you going to say, man, I tried it 3 days, man, they ain't do nothing? Yeah, you're a 3-day person. You're a 1-week person. You're a 2-week person. You see the difference you got to be is a lifestyle person. Get out of that thing they try to put us in. You have to be a lifestyle person. Make it a lifestyle. Oh, man, I used to do this. I used to take this and do this. Listen, why did you stop? Why did you stop? This is the question. What are you going to do about it? You're learning now. What are you going to do about it? See, this is the thing. When I said I was going to start this truth, for example, there's no man's emotions, no man's opinion, whether they left or not. And guess what? I've seen people who left the truth in the gyms and all that. I've worked with some people overseas and all that. And guess what? I don't have nothing against them. They can come against our church. They can have their own opinion as men. Guess what? They men. That don't mean I'm finna be chilling with them and stuff like that, because two can't walk together unless they agree. But I'm not running from nothing. I run to it. I don't run from it. But I can be a man and still be peaceful with all men, like the Bible says. Instead of a friend, I can make not an enemy. See what I'm saying? And why am I saying this? Because when I started the truth, I said, listen, hell is not an option. I'm not worrying about, if I make a mistake, I get up. A righteous man falls. Boom. That's one. I'm not worrying about what somebody else think about doctrine. I'm not worrying about somebody's emotion or something that ain't my business. Boom. That's another thing. I'm not worrying about something that can go wrong every now and then. Boom. That can be fixed. That's life. It can happen in family. It can happen in work. See? So that's my faith. Just like evil is people conscience is seared with a hot iron, yours must be seared with a hot iron for the truth. None of it's worth your salvation, because it's all just extra. No matter how deep a scripture is, no matter about, even if, okay, like for example, we were not following the correct holy days before. We were going by the moon. I didn't leave the truth because of that. We thought it was to be so at that time. Okay, so if I don't stay around to see the fruits of it, what's it all for? I need to be like Paul said, we need to come together for the better and for the worse. So I was there for the worse, the good, all of it. It don't matter what it is. Okay, I'm not here for all the extra. I don't see. Let me tell you something. Me being on this show, it's not for attention, even. It's not even for attention. It's to teach the gospel. That's it. I'm not a person who wants attention. I just do my job well. Okay? So that's what you guys have to work on your faith. You got to work on your faith, guys. All right? So when it comes to exercise, for example, I've always exercised since I was a kid, but I told myself when I came back, I said, listen, I'm about to start something like even more serious instead of just me playing sports. I haven't stopped since 2009. I didn't care who fell off. I didn't care who didn't want to come to the gym, who didn't want to finish with me. It's been many. It's been many, and I did it alone if I had to. I'm still doing it. See, I'm a different type of individual. My faith is my faith, and that's what you have to decide. If you want to be healed, if you want something that's to grow or the Most High bless your hands, you must not stop on any level. If you want your body to be healed through diet, through whatever, you must not stop. So tonight when we go into this, we ain't just talking, man, it does this and it does that. Oh, my goodness. And then it just goes away. Whoever wants it, you're going to see the people who gets it and applies it, and those will be the people who see the fruits of it. Our people have to get out of this sleep where we just, oh, man, like I talked about it on last show. I used to take that. I used to do that. What do you mean? This is necessary for the body. You're talking about what you used to do. When I find out something the Most High gave me like the truth, there's no man that can take that away from me, or woman, family member, nobody. I didn't come in this to see who's perfect. So when someone gives me something about health and I know it's going to change my body, you heaven right that I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to deal with it. You know how many people dying from cancer and all types of things out there? It's worse than have ever been when it comes to parasites and cancers and diseases and toxins. When I get something, I'm like, listen, I'm keeping it. And then you find out what you need over time, long term, and you balance it out and see, okay, I'm gonna take this away. I don't really need that. I can feel my body in this, and you work with it. But if you just, oh man, I don't know. Okay, don't know. I'm not finna worry about you not knowing. I pray for you. See, like, I don't agree with Kevin Gates and all that, but one thing I like about that song you came out with, I don't get tired. I don't get tired. Have that in your mind. Be not weary in well doing is what the Bible says. I don't get tired. Tell yourself that. Even when you start to have your own business, work harder than you did when you did a 9-to-5 to show appreciation, because you could be doing that. You got it, man. You got to. The greater you are, the greater you are, the more humble you shall be. More appreciation you shall have. So when this information is coming out, gardening, elders is teaching the lessons. See what, man, we was studying back then. Everybody just want to be a Hebrew Israelite from the outside. I was talking to my children today, and yeah, we're gonna go into the lesson. We was planting this tree that I found from Lowe's. It had brown leaves on the outside. And I'm a husbandman. And I said, baby, let's go over there and check that tree. That's a nice big, what do you call it? Crepe myrtle. Tall. I mean, it was about 11 feet tall. And I said, it's $119. You know, they sell those little flowering trees. I didn't necessarily need it, but I'm like, I'm a bargain man too. And one man's trash is another man's treasure. So I said, man, what y'all gonna do with that tree right there? I said, I'll take it, doctor it up. I know how to bring these things back to life. He said, oh man, we get ready to throw it away. I was just finna get ready to cut it up. I said, well, listen, give it to me for free or whatever. Take some off. He gave it to me 75% off. I paid about $25, $27, something like that for it. It was brown leaves and stuff all on it. I took it home. 3 days later, green leaves is growing all on it. And I knew, because when I scratched it, the tree was still alive, but they was finna cut it up. So that's what they do at some of these stores. So sometimes I say that because when you don't have patience and long suffering, you won't be able to see the fruits of things. I told my wife, I said, baby, that thing got leaves all over it now. Let me tell you, they just lost some money, but it's all good. I got blessed. You don't judge things from the outside. I was able to see on the inside of it. I had to have faith in that thing, put that thing in the ground. Boom, there you go. And that's what we must be with anything the Most High gives us, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and go into, and guess what? And I hate that I had to go into, not really hate, but I'm coming out with some profound information. And guys, it works. It's already been tested from people, from doctors, even myself for a long time. Before I came out with this with y'all, I already been doing this probably about 2 years already. Before I come out to it with y'all, it's already been being done for a long time. I got these lessons written down, certain ones I need to go into. I'll study more. I'll check it out, see how it's affecting on people, whatever the case may be. It's already being done. So last time we talked about magnesium, but mostly copper. Okay, so let me show you really quick how, in addition to copper, how this helps. Very important to make energy. Let's start it off here. I don't know why this thing is so loud. Should be on silent. As a matter of fact, I'll just turn it off until we need to use it. I want to go to this site, ancientminerals.com. Some of you are familiar with this company. Some of you use it in your bath water, things like that. They're talking about how magnesium gives you energy, makes energy. It's not just about coffee, right? So let's check it out. Let me go. Where do I want to start? All right. How much kick exactly? According to reports in the second paragraph, ancientminerals.com. According to reports from some of our customers, they've experienced enough to boost their energy levels that they have to remember not to use it. Hold up. Not to use it too close to their bedtime. This is not completely uncommon in some whose metabolism is more sensitive to magnesium. So we're talking about magnesium right now. I had to jump to it. And the integral role it plays, especially in those that are extremely magnesium deficient and have yet to reach an equilibrium. So you don't forget, I need to talk about magnesium on a minute level because it goes hand in hand with copper, okay? The two main things in the book, Cure Fatigue, are copper and magnesium, okay? Not that you don't take the other ones, but these are two of the main ones when it comes to making water, making energy, okay? And many more things. So why is that? Well, if we zoom all the way down to a cellular level, magnesium is a required component in the production of ATP. And what is ATP? Adenosine triphosphate is a coenzyme that is responsible for transporting energy within our cells and metabolism, and is used in a whole host of processes, including cell division. That's right, folks. For all of our cells that die on a daily basis, ATP is an essential in the magical process of cell reproduction. It is also constantly recycled and reused within our body, a multi-purpose energy, Swiss Army knife of sorts that is able to be shaped and molded to suit the process utilizing it. In just one day, a healthy body will recycle ATP over 500 times. To understand this massive scale of this, consider that our bodies are made up of trillions of cells. Trillions. And each one of them is using and synthesizing ATP. That is monumental. And now magnesium comes into the picture. All enzymes that utilize or synthesize ATP require magnesium. Check that out. One of the primary roles of magnesium in energy production. Now, some people probably didn't think that because they said, well, magnesium just makes us relax. Well, that's a part of it, but that's not the only thing. It is responsible for energy along with copper. Pay attention. You don't want to miss this, okay? This in this lesson. One of the primary roles of magnesium in energy production is partnership with ATP as MgATP. In fact, ATP needs to be partnered with magnesium in order to be biologically active. You can't even have proper energy without the balance of minerals, especially copper and magnesium. They got you taking all these thousands of things, but you need to understand how the body functions. So we're telling you tonight. A lot of you are having issues because we are not taking some of the number 1 through 5 main minerals that help the body to function. Minerals are some of the most important things. Minerals and amino acids. Bacteria, enzymes, and fungi. Vitamins are good too, but minerals, bacteria, fungi, amino acids. You need everything to function. But we could have got this if we didn't sin. If our forefathers didn't sin and the Most High didn't put us under, thank you for your donations. We appreciate you guys. He didn't put us under our enemies, a foolish nation who would just totally devour and mess everything up to where we couldn't even get proper energy. The valley of dry bones, anyone? Our spirits will be housed in vehicles that are putt-putts. Spitting out fumes because we lack things that can't not come out of the ground because they're putting in synthetic fertilizers. Once again, as a reminder, even if most of the ground has the minerals outside of the farmlands that are being sprayed, unless they're organic, but even the organic ones they lack. Why? If they're not gardening in a regenerative type of style, the minerals are very hard to come up. And if they have not been gardening this way long enough, not that you won't get some minerals, you really won't get proper nutrition long term. I wanted to remind you of that. You need to go back and watch the lesson before this to understand what I'm talking about. It is very important. Soon I will be coming on here because it's going to be very vital to talk about how we should be gardening in some ways, going into lack of water because of AI, droughts when it comes to chemicals all over, all right, greenhouses, regenerative farming. But there's a few ways, permaculture, back to eating gardening methods. But sometimes we're going to have to let certain things grow wild, like a permaculture system, to even try to defeat drought if it's not going to rain. Learning what trees you can plant to make rain. All of these things. So we're going to have to, it's not just about putting mulch around your tree and that's it. We're going to have to start taking different routes. So we'll go into that in the near future, because if you don't have water to water those trees, you just need to have a backup. People can't even grow successful crops and plants anymore because of the weather is all over the place. Okay? We're going to have to start learning how to make greenhouses with solar ACs and all that. It can be done. It can be done. Okay? So, let's continue. One of the primary roles of magnesium in energy production is its partnership with ATP as MgATP. In fact, ATP needs to be partnered with magnesium in order to be biologically active. This magnesium ATP complex acts as sort of chemical battery, powering numerous functions and processes, including our mitochondria's ability to create more ATP out of food energy. Don't worry. We're not using ATP just to create it. There is a net gain in energy happening there. Magnesium also exists as free magnesium and positively affects the production of ATP through Krebs cycles. We'll leave the Krebs cycle for some other time, but let's suffice it to say that it involves cell respiration and energy production. Okay? Combine all of this information and you're looking at trillions of processes throughout the body that are dependent on ATP for energy. While ATP is dependent on magnesium, this should also explain how significantly and deeply our energy levels are affected by a magnesium deficiency. So next time your eyes are drooping and you're sluggish, dragging your body towards a mug of coffee, you might want to switch your attention over to something that will do the job right, magnesium. All right? Magnesium has been shown to be fundamental and nutrient for help sleep cycles. This type of reaction is both temporary as well as an indicator of magnesium deficiency. So I just want to bring that out really quick. 450 to 500 milligrams of magnesium a day. Sometimes I take more because I'm putting out a lot of minerals when I sweat. I may take the magnesium glycinate early, and I may take the magnesium citrate powder that I have on my site before I go to bed with my electrolyte powder, with my fungus, with my copper, colloidal gold, and silver to allow my body to really function and rest. Really nice, okay? We'll talk about the aquaponic and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Nothing wrong with that either, as long as you know what you're doing. All righty. Wanted to bring that out, but let's go back to cure your fatigue really quick. And I'm going to open up some of the calls, but let me see if we can pick up where we left off. Pay attention. I know Esau is hard to listen to sometimes because their presentation is a little boring. No offense, but they sometimes bring in powerful information, and that's why I sometimes stop it to try to, like how we teach the scriptures, to just give some edification on it so that you guys won't fall asleep. But these are life-changing things, and somebody has to go through some of these books to do it. All right. If you want to ask a question, I'm sorry, you're going to have to call in because I see people asking, what about aquaponic? What about CMOS? And I want to answer your questions, but I don't want to fall off the topic. Okay. CMOS does not do everything perfect for the body. I'm sorry to tell you. That's just not true. It's not. Okay. It's good, though. It's very good, but it does not do everything. Okay. So I love Dr. Sebi, but okay, I would be preaching more about CMOS than anything if it did that. Okay, and if you ask me, I would choose copper over CMOS. I know it sounds crazy, but I know how this body works. All right, so let's get to it. All right, we are on Audible, listening to Cure Your Fatigue, how balancing minerals in one protein called ceruloplasma, okay, it's something that helps you to make sure that your iron is not bound, okay, dealing with copper that's in your liver, all right, is a solution that you're looking for. Morley M. Robbins. Let's go. Pay attention.
500 milligrams. Given that the human body is designed to keep itself alive.
For those of you who don't know why we're starting here, we're starting where we left off from last lesson. Pay attention. We're going to get ready to go into cholesterol and how there may be some misinformation out there when it comes to cholesterol. You might want to pay attention.
A continuous repair and adjustment process known as homeostasis. Why would it produce so much cholesterol if cholesterol poses a threat to its health? It doesn't. The truth is that we would not be alive were it not for cholesterol. It is essential for many of the functions that keep us alive and healthy. Cholesterol is the most important component and structural unit of cell membranes.
Now, I've told people for years, if you don't have cholesterol, you'll die, when I was back in Egypt, because I was seeing oils that said no cholesterol and all of this stuff. And I had to study this because, I had to help someone not to get their gallbladder removed before. Okay. Eating cheap oils like that, because I didn't know. I just thought that, trying to buy affordable oil would do it. No, it's not the case. It's actually horrible to eat unhealthy fats. That's where you get bad cholesterol. That's one of the ways you can get bad cholesterol, eating cheap oils. Went to a doctor. He said, hey, you're going to have to get this removed. This is an emergency. You got like 101 gallstones, and one is blocking the passage of it. I said, hey, we're going to figure this out. And we ended up figuring it out. Took the granny gallstone flush. Everything came out. So contrary to popular belief, it was able to be done in 3 days. So I started studying oils. About 16 years ago this happened. I started studying oils. Learned about this cholesterol lie 16 years ago. And from then on out, I started to buy only certain type of oils. Only certain type of salts. Okay? So your body makes cholesterol. You need cholesterol. And contrary to belief, you don't just get it from eating animal fats. We're going to learn it here.
It maintains the integrity of the cell membrane, which encloses and protects the cells themselves. Cholesterol is a vital constituent for a normal functioning nervous system. It plays an important role in the developmental stage and in mature adulthood. Cholesterol is also needed by our body to manufacture various hormones and to produce fat-soluble vitamins, steroid hormones, and the bile salts our body requires to absorb fats. Cholesterol also acts as a natural anti-inflammatory agent. When inflammation is present in the body, cholesterol levels automatically rise as the body attempts to cope with the rising levels of inflammation. The medical profession has for decades been erroneously attacking cholesterol, one of the most important biomolecules in the human body, while ignoring the fact that iron is one of the most toxic pro-oxidant metals that has been proven time and again to be at the very epicenter of this, our nation's cardiovascular crisis. It was iron all along that...
So for those of you who didn't watch the lesson last week, you need to go and watch the lesson last week. Iron is not an enemy in a sense in our bodies. It's an enemy if you don't take copper. Okay? Iron is causing issues in the body when it comes to anemia, according to this doctor and many more doctors. The copper unbinds the iron, not only from the blood, but the tissues themselves. Very important that you understand this. This is not just something you can toss to the side. I'm sorry. It's not just something you can toss to the side. You need to understand this, because the world be sick from anemia, especially women, losing blood on their cycles and all that, having to get blood transfusions. Do you think you want to just not pay attention to this? Hey, I'm sipping copper. I'm good. I'm trying to help you be on point. Okay? So understand that iron becomes the enemy when you lack copper.
It's the LDL cholesterol to become rusty and lead to the buildup of coronary plaque. What physicians are clearly not taught in medical school is that it requires 11 oxygen molecules to make one cholesterol molecule. Nor are they taught that iron oxidizes biomolecules all over the body. In effect, cholesterol is a sink for excess oxygen, especially when oxidative stress starts rising. Cholesterol's evolution alongside oxygen's appearance on the planet was no accident. Furthermore, cholesterol always...
Do you understand what he's saying? Not only will you suffer from anemia, you will have cholesterol issues if you have too much iron in your body that's not unbound and unlocked by copper. Okay? Listen to what he's saying.
Rises in the presence of increased oxidative stress, especially when it involves increased hydrogen peroxide, or H2O2, which rises as copper becomes bio-unavailable and iron becomes unbound, dominant, and more reactive in our metabolism. All sterols, especially cholesterol, are essential for healthy aerobic metabolism in humans. Their elimination from our foods and our blood via statins and low-fat dietary restrictions has only increased our rate of oxidative stress, or rusting. One of the dire yet little-known consequences of the low-fat anti-cholesterol diet is the significant reduction in the intake of retinol, which is the only true form of vitamin A. Retinol, also known as preformed vitamin A, is a fat-soluble vitamin that is only found in animal-sourced foods such as liver, oily fish, cheese, butter, heavy cream, and egg yolks.
Now, I found this to be very important for the people because retinol is only found in animal sources. Very important to eat some type of retinol when you're dealing with copper. You have to understand, guys, a lot of these things work together. Our body is made of sulfur. Our body is made of bacteria, all types of things. Copper, number one missing mineral, magnesium, iodine. All of these things work hand in hand. Don't forget, last week we talked about copper also helping with the function of the thyroid. Very, very important. So some people who are vegans, there's some ways you're going to have to be able to get some of these things in your body. You know what I mean? So you just got to think about it. And hey, that's on you. You don't have to do anything, but this is just proper information coming out showing you why the Most High intended for us to eat some of these things for a certain reason. Even if you're saying, hey, well, my body's allergic to or whatever, I don't know how else you're going to take it, if you don't supplement with it, is what I'm saying. So just keep that in mind.
Retinol plays an essential role in the body's growth, immune function, vision, and reproductive health. Retinol is essential for the body to maintain homeostasis of copper, and it does so through its interactions with the human copper ATPases, ATP7A and ATP7B.
Thank you for the
Both
support.
ATP7A and ATP7B require retinol to load copper into their copper pumps and to control the production of a network of 12 copper-driven enzymes that regulate and run human metabolism.
You hear that about retinol? It helps to control copper in the copper pumps. It is not just like something. There's nothing wrong with eating some butter. And nothing wrong with eating some of this dairy. Guys, the angels came down eating dairy. We talked about it. And I'm going to do another lesson on about God's diet. I have to do another lesson. I have to. But this retinol is very important for the copper as well. Copper is important for unbounding iron. Magnesium is important with copper for building water and energy in our body. Right? Unfortunately, today we have to supplement, unfortunately. But that's why I'm also pushing, and I have to push it because we're going into a famine soon. I have to push regenerative farming. I can't just put a seed in the ground farming. That's not good enough. When you can't buy supplements from a supplement store, or you don't have them stored up, or you don't have like proper wheat and certain things stored, you don't have certain animals that are going to give you some of these fat soluble vitamins and stuff like that, you at least need to have some type of regenerative farming methods. It's very, very, very important. The tilling method is cool to start off a garden, but then you need to add the organic matter once you get your mounds and things like that, so it can continue to grow and grow and grow. But constant tillage takes away nutrition. No matter what, it's just what it is. I don't know how else to say it. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Okay? Now, yeah, you can get away with like potato. I mean, you gotta pour the dirt out for your potatoes, but you want most of your garden, if you can, eventually, your fruit trees. Start practicing and studying Korean natural farming. Start practicing. We'll come on here and talk about it. Start doing hugelkultur. I'm gonna bring on a guy, like I said, who don't even have to. I think your rock sent. Did your rock send me that? I think your rock sent me that. Who doesn't even have to water his garden at all from hugelkultur, planting even the fruit trees and the garden and stuff like that in a drought. It's like putting a pot top on, forcing the moisture to go back down instead of evaporating. So we'll talk about that another time, but it's going to be important in the years to come. We're going to need to save some of the supplements that we know we for sure need, and we're going to need to start prepping certain gardens in certain areas and plots. Even if we're not using it now, just start dumping wood chips on it. Start dumping old bales of hay on it. Buy you some hay for however much it costs, $30, $50. Start dumping it in the area. In a year or two, that thing is going to be ready for you to go right into it. Let the animals go over there and graze, poop, whatever the case may be. And that thing is going to start being ready to feed you while you're working on your other little garden the way we do it now. There's nothing wrong with gardening the way we do it now, but we're going to depend on the way the Most High did things before. You can go through the Bible and find tilling, but they also were using the dung, putting it back on that. All right. And that's the issue. The crops. I mean, you can look at strawberries, for example. Guys, they got videos of them just spraying the strawberries. If you don't soak those strawberries, I mean, listen, I can't even buy regular strawberries. I'm sure I eat them from time to time. You know, when you go to the store and you get them in the little assorted thing. But if I'm buying them for home, we have to soak them. Even organic. I just have to. I'm sitting them things and everything we soak in chlorine dioxide, because it's going to make sure that all that stuff is neutralized. Everything, heavy metals, whatever. Okay? You got your baking soda, you got your apple vinegar. But for me, I just got to be careful. I just want to make sure I personally do it with chlorine dioxide, because I know that that's going to deal with anything. Okay? So we need to get ready to start practicing it, all right? But let's go back to talking about cholesterol before we fill off topic. Retinol right now. All of these things help when it comes to energy and copper. These are under the umbrella of copper, okay? How can you fix your lymphatic system? Call in the show. But an easy way, start doing jumping jacks every morning. Start jumping every morning. That's one way. Or start beating yourself a little by little. Just little stuff like this. It actually works. Start drinking something warm in the morning and start jumping every morning. And that's going to help you out. You'll realize like, whoa, okay.
Person most responsible.
What's chlorine dioxide? It's water purification. I can't go too much deep into it, but go and look up the testimonials on it, on, chlorine dioxide. You'll see.
for the demonization of cholesterol was Ansel Keys. Keys suspected that a fat-rich diet was responsible for heart disease and overall poor health.
Check this out.
To test his hypothesis, he conducted what is known as the 7 Countries Study. The study was so named because it involved studying the diets of populations in Finland, Greece, Japan, Italy, Netherlands, Yugoslavia, and the United States. From this study, Keys claimed proof that cholesterol levels were strongly related to heart disease mortality. Keys' study was highly flawed because, among other things, he buried the findings of 15 other countries that contradicted his findings in the original 7 countries. Yet Keys remained adamant that dietary saturated fats caused elevated cholesterol levels, which in turn caused heart disease. In 1957, the American Heart Association, AHA, joined forces with him. Soon, AHA spokespersons took to television to warn the American public about the dangers of butter, eggs, bacon, and other saturated fat food sources.
We're going into the history about how some of this stuff was brought out. That's why you got to read some of these books. That's why I'm showing them, because they take you back when some of these things were brought, how they were brought in, and how these ideals were brought. Man, guys, they got so many things they brought in with these Revelation 29ers, working with these fallen angels to take away our nutrition, our health, with the lighting and all that. I'm going to bring all this stuff. Y'all better stay tuned. You better stay tuned. Hit that like button. Make sure you press subscribe, because you're going to miss it. Let me tell you, if you don't listen, you ain't going to glisten. You're going to miss it. You don't get right, you're going to get left.
In relation to heart disease, the U.S. government quickly followed suit, issuing federal guidelines recommending that a low-fat diet be followed in order to prevent heart disease. It was not long before the high cholesterol, fat intoxication, blocked artery model of heart disease and the proclaimed need for a low-fat diet became accepted as steadfast facts. The belief that this is so still persists today. It was also one of the principal rationales for the creation of the USDA food pyramid that occurred in the late 1960s, largely due to the work of Senator George McGovern and his staff following his appointment by the U.S. Senate to chair the Select Committee on Nutrition and Human Needs, influenced by Keys and the AHA's stance on cholesterol. McGovern's committee proposed that fat and cholesterol consumption be reduced for better heart health. Their doing so led to the creation of the modern USDA food pyramid, which in its original form also recommended a high intake of excessively iron-laden grains and other carbohydrates, as well as a low-salt diet.
All of your cereal section, listen, my kids don't even eat none of that cereal. My kids don't even eat none of that cereal. They ain't even eating that cereal in Egypt. And if they did eat some cereal, it's going to be some Ezekiel something, whatever that stuff is called. But they don't eat cereal because it's a lot of that stuff is like the wrong type of minerals that's put in a lot of that stuff. You know, you got to get you some really nice stuff if you want to eat it. And you know, you can eat it. It's not against the law, but I'm telling you, a lot of that stuff your body can't necessarily absorb every single portion of it. Some of it can, but a lot of it can't. And they're pushing more iron. So your body can be rusting out and oxidation. Okay? Very important that you understand this. Too much iron without copper is an issue.
Incomplete practice that has had devastating effects on our electrolyte balances and our adrenal glands, which can cause aldosterone levels in the body to rise. Aldosterone is a steroid hormone in the body that is responsible for regulating the balance between salt and other electrolytes. Elevated aldosterone levels are not our friend. Our body is designed for salt and the presence of minerals to run our electrical biochemistry. Too much aldosterone disrupts this essential process of homeostasis. Because of the faulty science upon which its creation was based, today it is widely recognized that the USDA's recommendations for low-fat eating played a significant role in the obesity epidemic that has insidiously gripped America and has exhausted our healthcare system for the last 50 years. Yes, adoption of the low-fat diet has created a nation of high-fat citizens. As an added insult to our health, to attempt to counteract the decline in our health that has resulted from the above developments, we have increasingly been advised to supplement our diets with vitamins and minerals such as synthetic vitamin C, ascorbic acid, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and zinc, all of which further stress the body's mineral status or weaken our immune system.
So when it comes to taking copper, I keep ascorbic acid still, personally. But you don't want to overtake, you understand, too much of any other mineral, or you will take away from your copper. We're talking about copper and energy and fatigue here. Once you start to take copper, you don't really need to, like before I was taking copper, believe it or not, I had to kind of fill in with ascorbic acid or vitamins, that vitamin C, because I lift a lot of weights when it comes to taking a lot of inflammation away. But when I started taking copper, I was able to lower that and just get a lot of the vitamin C from the diet. Okay, so that's the thing. I started taking the copper about 6 months ago now. I was able to now lower a lot of other things, and everything started to balance out, because when I was taking too much, the effects will go away too quick. Okay, so you don't want to take high zinc. You don't need to take high vitamin C once you have copper. Copper is one of those main missing elements that's going to take and help a lot of the energy, a lot of the inflammation. Now you are going to need, if you're 35 and over, to make sure you're eating a nice healthy protein and amino acids, like, and personally I supplement creatine. I don't supplement creatine for weightlifting. I supplement creatine for, as you get 35 and older, creatine, L-glutamine, collagen. Those things is a must-have as you get older, because you start to lose some of those main things as amino acids, and when it comes to gut inflammation, leaky gut, and things like that. Very important things to have, just so you guys know. All right, let's continue. So like he said, you don't need to take overboard of everything once you start taking copper. That's why I'm bringing this to you guys. All right, just balance it all off. All right, just call and ask questions when this chapter is done. I'll answer your questions. Don't worry about it. Amia, whoever Amia is, because I don't know everyone who's in it. I'll answer you guys' questions.
And the end result is a nation that is fatter, sicker, and more tired than ever before in its history. You will learn the reason why these supplements noted above are detrimental to your health and are causing you to stay tired in part 2 of this book. There you will also learn of the work of Weston A. Price, DDS, whose research is the cornerstone of nutritional truth regarding what humans should consider and consume as food. His dietary recommendations encompass the ancestral diet in its truest form, which I outline and discuss in Chapter 9. Modern medicine. The one consistent finding I've discovered in talking with over 100 doctors and other healthcare practitioners is that they have never heard, learned about, nor understood the paramount role copper plays in harnessing oxygen and thereby protecting our health. That was one of the first comments that Ben Edwards, MD, made in my initial conversation with him. Morley, I don't recall ever hearing the word copper during my entire classroom or clinical training. And it's not just copper. There is a total lack of awareness and understanding within the medical community regarding minerals and the essential roles that they play. This is why I affectionately refer to doctors, think MDs, as mineral denialists. I am hopeful that this simple audiobook can be viewed as an invitation for doctors of all faiths and persuasions to learn aspects of metabolism and energy production that they simply were not taught about in their clinical training. In my opinion, the interplay between copper, ceruloplasmin, iron, magnesium, and oxygen, as well as
the name of the book is Cure Your Fatigue. You're looking at it on the screen. And if you have extra questions, you guys can call in, all right?
downstream metabolic processes that they regulate are among the most important keys to health. They comprise the foundation to our immune system and metabolism, now known as our immunometabolism system. Doctors may talk about the dangers of oxidative stress, but they lack the awareness of what causes it, and therefore are not fully equipped to prevent or to reverse it. Hopefully, this audiobook will invite dialogue and inspire further research and understanding. Despite their 8 years or more of formal training that they devote to becoming doctors, medical school students receive virtually no education at all about overall nutrition, let alone mineral metabolism. Case in point, as I write this year's graduating class at the University of North Carolina Medical School
Let me
received
skip to
a
the good
total
part.
of only 36 minutes to assess the overall status of medical education. Flexner's corpus, his report, was all nerves without the lifeblood of caring. It was also devoid of any understanding of the importance minerals play in our metabolism and mitochondria-derived energy production, let alone the root cause of fatigue and disease. During the same time, the use of petrochemicals, which are chemicals derived from petroleum in the preparation and manufacture of pharmaceutical drugs, was also underway. For example, the petroleum compound phenol was used as a preparatory substance to manufacture aspirin, and petroleum resins in general played a role in drug purification procedures. As a side note, an important fact that is often overlooked or unknown by most doctors is that polyphenol oxidase is one of the most important copper-dependent enzymes of the over 500 enzymes in our livers. Therefore, it stands to reason that copper, as a cofactor to this enzyme, must be key to metabolizing all of these phenol-containing pharmaceutical drugs. Petrochemicals are still widely used in the manufacture of most pharmaceutical
We're almost done with this chapter, then we're going to open up the lines.
drugs today. The dominance of the pharmaceutical drug model in what passes for healthcare today has had and continues to have serious negative health consequences. The full scope of these consequences was highlighted in a report by Donald W. Light, Ph.D., published by the Harvard University's Edmund J. Safra Center for Ethics. In that report, Light states, "Few people know that new prescription drugs have a 1 in 5 chance of causing serious reactions after they have been approved. That is why expert physicians recommend not taking new drugs for at least 5 years unless patients have first tried better established options and have the need to do so. Few know that systematic reviews of hospital charts found that even properly prescribed drugs, aside from misprescribing, overdosing, or self-prescribing, cause about 1.9 million hospitalizations a year. Another 840,000 hospitalized patients are given drugs that cause serious adverse reactions for a total of 2.74 million serious adverse drug reactions. About 128,000 people die from drugs prescribed to them. This makes prescription drugs a major health risk, ranking 4th, with stroke as a leading cause of death. The European Commission estimates that adverse reactions from prescription drugs cause 200,000 deaths. So together, about 328,000 patients in the U.S. and Europe die from prescription drugs each year. The FDA does not acknowledge these facts and instead gathers a small fraction of the cases. Pharmaceutical drugs pose other serious problems as well. Many pharmaceutical drugs contain some form of fluoride, which inactivates magnesium and prevents magnesium uptake. In addition, many drugs directly deplete magnesium and copper. These include diet pills, diuretics, many high blood pressure medications, various antibiotics and antifungal drugs, anti-cancer drugs.
So I want to tell you guys something. I am not a doctor, and I can't give you some of this information as far as what to do when you're taking these medications, because some of you guys, you're at the moment your life depends on it according to your doctor. But according to other doctors, see, all doctors are not created equal. But even if you decide one day, you have to still get with that doctor and say, hey, what if I want to transition this? or you can have that doctor and another holistic doctor, like I'm talking about like a proper doctor, to see how the process goes, okay? Sorry, that Lion's Boutique is amazing. But anyway, so he's showing you how no different than a fertilizer, NPK, nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, put in the ground will block the uptake of minerals, definitely copper, iodine, all of it. The same thing, this is like a ground for us. Once we take synthetic things, we bomb our guts, killing off not only bad but good bacteria as well. Now, you don't kill it all, but imagine you just taking stuff forever. You don't really have enough bacteria to fight for your body. That by default is going to make you tired. The more bacteria you have, it's also energy too. When you have good bacteria, you have good mood, good energy, because it is what helps you to digest, to metabolize when it comes to the enzymes of fungus and the bacteria. So if you just kill it off with all of these things, of course you're going to feel tired or whatever. And sometimes you're going to say, oh, I took that made me have more energy. Well, that's for a second, but you want long-term energy. So we really have to just understand, start gardening the way I'm telling you. For example, regenerative farming. Compare that to your gut. Everything even compared to the gut, even a septic system. If you ever lived in a rural area and you looked at the septic systems they have, how they have stomachs, 3 tanks before the water comes out. You got the first one where all of your, the stuff that comes out of your house when you go to the restroom goes. And then that breaks down. And you have to have certain, they tell you don't use bleach. They tell you don't use all of these antibacterials. It's going to mess up that. Look at it as stomachs, that first stomach system of that septic. It will not break down correctly. It will start to smell. It will bring gases in your house and things like that. So, but if you have it normal and natural, or you get certain like septic tabs to put in there that help to break down bacteria with good bacteria, it will now go, not only does it help to break it down, it keeps it at a good pH balance. It goes into the next stomach or septic tank. Then it goes into the last one as a liquid and it comes out. Smooth and easy. If that doesn't happen, or you overload it with too much, excretions from your house, what happens is the tank is getting too full. No different than the gut. If you're overeating, your stomach is getting too big. You are now not able to metabolize or digest. Even though you ate good stuff, it's sitting there. What's going to happen when something is sitting there? Bacteria will grow. It will try its best to break it down. More worms will come. That's just nature. They will try to break it down. Even if they're good or bad worms or fungi, whatever it may be, and it's trying to break it down. Eventually, you will have a stuck system, which comes to, they tell you what you have to detox. That's the same thing happens with a septic system. They tell you in the county, you have to get your septic pumped. If you don't get it pumped, you're going to get a violation. So if there's a violation in the real world with the Most High, this is also a violation. It's gluttony. We need to detox. We need to fast. We need to jump. We need to exercise to get it out, or you're going to get a violation. Guess what the violation is? You're not going to go to hell. Okay. Now, can it bring you to hell? Yeah. But first, it can cause you hell on earth. You start to get SIBO. You start to get what's that? Irritable bowel syndrome. You start to get backups, leaky gut. You're starting to get all types of issues. Also, you're starting to get everything, hormone issues. Now you got thyroid issues because the hormones is made here. When the gut is backed up, when you're not jumping, when you're not, because even sometimes they'll tell you, if your septic is messed up, take a stick, go and move it in the first tank so it can flow through the second one. Sometimes they'll tell you to do that if necessary. What would that be in the body? Jumping. Enzymes. Pineapple. You got bromelain and papain. You got your papaya and pineapple, so you can eat it in your diet. If you don't eat it every day, that's why we sell the enzymes. You can take apple vinegar water. See, all of all of the things that are designed is designed from the gut and the ground. Just wanted to put it out there for y'all. That's how it works. All right.
Such as cisplatin, acid blockers, and antacids, statins, and other cholesterol-lowering drugs and oral contraceptives. The United States consumes more pharmaceutical drugs per capita, both prescription and over-the-counter, than any other country in the world, with terrible result, I might add. An increasing array of pharmaceuticals...
And guess what they'll do to you? If they see you ain't went to the doctor, you ain't took your children to the doctor, they will look at you like you're weird. I think I seen somewhere they talking about they didn't take the child to the doctor, you know, and they wanted to have a baby or something. It was like some black people. The children hadn't been to the doctor in years, and it's like, and they try to make that a crime on these people. Crazy. Just because they don't want to be their experiment. Like Levi didn't want to get down in Egypt. Levi was like, I'm good. Now, really what that was the Most High separating them to be the priest, but still. Come on.
Drugs are now known to cause devastating effects on mineral status in the human body. This is a fact proven over and over again in the medical literature, yet still ignored or generally unknown by MDs. However, there are always exceptions, like one of my personal heroes, Mildred S. Seelig, MD, MPH. She was originally a drug researcher and switched to becoming a magnesium zealot when she realized that most pharmaceutical drugs cause magnesium loss. And that's far from the only harm modern medicine is causing. Consider these facts. Cipro and most other antibiotics don't just wipe out good bacteria along with the bad, they are also very hard on copper status, resulting in connective tissue disorders. Benzodiazepines, benzos, a widely prescribed class of drugs, are most destructive to copper status in the brain. Various medical procedures and recommendations are also known to block mineral uptake. For example, copper deficiency is a known and recognized side effect of bariatric surgery and total parenteral nutrition.
What are we talking about here, just to update you guys? We're talking about, according to the book, Cure Your Fatigue. They've done research, they've done studies, and they've proven it. This is properly proven. A lot of these pharmaceuticals are taking away your electrolytes. So if you are not taking in electrolytes, eating watermelon, taking electrolyte drinks, eating salt, all right, taking in copper, taking in magnesium, whatever the case may be, eating magnesium, copper-rich foods, even though you're more than likely not going to get it from the foods, but still trying to make sure you're getting it if it's in there or not. That's why you're so tired. That's why you're aching. That's why you're having side effects, because these things are taking it away according to research. And you can research it your own and see if these things do it or not. You have to listen to me. These people are the doctors and the MDs that are doing the studies of why they felt they need to bring you this book. They didn't feel they need to bring you this book because they wanted to sound good. They've done extensive research to figure out, why are we all tired? The uptake of nutrition from the ground is not coming because of the new modern way of farming, spraying glyphosate, spraying chemicals, spraying toxins. Okay? In the body. Too many antibacterial things, and not taking a kefir, not taking a yogurt, not taking fermented kombuchas, not taking fermented sauerkraut, kimchi type of things. Fermented, I'm not there yet, but the cottage cheese joint, I just can't do that one. But you got other options. But I'm saying these are the foods that we must take in some way, whatever's good for you. Okay.
Zinc supplementation reduces copper uptake in the gut. Chelation therapies bind to copper in the bloodstream.
Yeah, and I hear people talking about the colonoscopies and the mammograms and all that. There's research out there showing you right now that when you're going there, cutting things, and these parasites are spreading all over the place. Every single time. I'm telling y'all, go do your own research. It's all out there. They telling you come in there, before you know it, you got what they telling you you didn't have before. Facts.
forming a compound that ushers it out of the body. Most pharmaceutical drugs also contain iron oxides that further contribute to the iron load that is already being poorly managed by the body for the many reasons already cited. This additional iron only adds to the oxidation/inflammation occurring at the cellular level due to mineral deficiencies coupled with a lack of ceruloplasmin. There is also a faulty belief by doctors and scientists in gene defects when there is
6 minutes
increasing
left on
evidence
this.
and proof that a weakening bioenergetic field changes the frequency of the tissue that affects all of metabolism, not the least of which are the nucleus of the cell, as well as the mitochondrial DNA that are directly affected by a loss of energy production. Furthermore, there are 16 times more defects in the mitochondrial DNA, which directly affects the cell's capacity to produce healthy mitochondria and thereby produce optimal levels of energy. Proper mineral balance is essential for preventing the oxidative stress that is known to cause these genetic changes and prevent their correction by a network of repair enzymes which require minerals for their activation. The good news is the body can correct itself if and when balanced mineralization is reestablished. But the ultimate
The body can correct itself when remineralization, meaning dedicated faith to being consistent with making sure somehow, some way through diet, through supplementation, you're getting your minerals. Okay, and through eventually, once you practice that garden, regenerative farming. Okay, and guys, regenerative farming is really ABC. You don't need to get scientific. Just do what the Most High said. Throw your hay, your bedding on an area, mulch it on top, or wait till it breaks down as compost. Each year's time for gardening, throw your little inch of compost on there. Cover it with some mulch, whether the mulch is done or not. Leaf mulch, hay, whatever bedding. Okay, make sure it's not going to rot the plant away. Eventually, your garden will start to feed you, but you got to know what vegetables and stuff have what minerals and vitamins, okay? And then when you're eating it, you're getting bacteria off of it if you're just able to wash it with water. But that's really going to come from like a greenhouse type of garden, because if they're spraying chemtrails, you're going to get some of those heavy metals on it, and now you're going to have to soak and clean some of those things off of your vegetables. So when you got a greenhouse type of garden, a lot of those chemtrails will not get on your vegetables. Now, if you have them outside, they won't get on the roots. So the vegetable will still be strong, but you do want to clean it off and soak those heavy metals off. Okay? But in nature, the trees, the leaves have all types of bacteria to protect them in a forest type of environment. Okay? But unfortunately, there's chemtrails now, so you just want to be safe than sorry.
Of contemporary diagnostic medicine is its abject blind spot about how iron status is best measured in the body. Iron in the tissue can be up to 10 times greater than iron in the blood.
Huh? Iron in the tissue. Huh? I'm gonna tell you what that's why you wonder why I say huh, because I grew up with uncles and grandpas, and they be saying huh, and I'm like, what they saying huh for? That's just how I grew up. But it hits you. More iron in the tissue than iron in the blood, and when you go to the doctor, they're not gonna tell you that. How do we take this iron out of the tissue? Making sure your liver have enough copper. Some people ask me, well, Elder, why don't we just eat liver? Personally, I don't want to eat organs. I don't want to eat organs. That's not my deal. I'm not a lion, like a physical lion or a dog. I don't want to eat like those type of things. I don't want to, once again, I change water filters, which is like a liver. And you can rinse it and rinse it and rinse it and soak it, and it still has toxins and dirt and sludge in it. I'm not going to grind the liver up and eat that. Not only that, a lot of you guys don't know, when you take your cows to get slaughtered, and I know from the meat market, sometimes they'll get scared, the parasites, and they will run to the organs in the liver. They will run to the liver and the organs. before, after, whatever. A lot of parasites like to hide in the liver. So for me, I'm just not going to do that. Certain things the Most High said, give me the kidney, give me the caul above the liver, put that on the fire and burn that. So it's not saying they can't get inside of the muscle tissue, but they do climb in those things. And personally, I just don't want to eat things that filter things out. I don't care how much copper it got in there. I don't want to eat a filter, something that's filtering out things. I'm good on that. That's me though. I'm not telling you it's unlawful, but I'm not doing that. I will get my clean colloidal copper I'm dealing with that tastes like water or something that's in a supplement, and I'll deal with that. That's me. Okay? So, I mean, it's by choice.
Yes, there is a notable difference in iron status between tissue and blood. That is a critical factor to understand. The focus in what passes for iron research at present is on the labile.
Let me rewind that because he said it's a critical factor to understand.
But the ultimate failure directly affects the cell's capacity by doctors and scientists in gene defects when there is increasing evidence and proof that a weakening bioenergetic field changes the frequency of the tissue that affects all of metabolism, not the least of which are the nucleus of the cell, as well as the mitochondrial DNA that are directly affected by a loss of energy production. Furthermore, there are 16 times more defects in the mitochondrial DNA, which directly affects the cell's capacity to produce healthy mitochondria and thereby produce optimal levels of energy. Proper mineral balance is essential for preventing the oxidative stress that is known to cause these genetic changes and prevent their correction by a network of repair enzymes which require minerals for their activation. The good news is the body can correct itself if and when balanced mineralization is reestablished. But the ultimate failure of contemporary diagnostic medicine is its abject blind spot about how iron status is best measured in the body. Iron in the tissue can be up to 10 times greater than iron in the blood. Yes,
iron in the tissue again can be 10 times greater than iron in the blood. What's the issue with that? You have iron in your body. You go to the doctor says your iron levels are low. They're measuring the iron in your blood and not your tissue. They put you on anemia things. They put you, say you need a blood transfusion, whatever the case may be. You got to do what you got to do. I get it. But really, why does no one ask you, how are your copper levels? How are your copper levels? Do you take iodine? How are your magnesium levels? But first, how are your copper levels? Shalom, Sister Lanisa Terry. Bless you, my sister.
Notable difference in iron status between tissue and blood. That is a critical factor to understand.
Critical.
The focus in what passes for iron research at present is on the labile iron pool. Note, labile does not mean free, it means reactive. If only doctors had been, were more completely trained in what this really represents in terms of the origin of reactive oxygen species, ROS, and oxidative stress inside the mitochondria and the cells. We will learn more about these critical dynamics in Chapter 4. Nor is there any consideration given to nor understanding about the importance of the body's iron reticuloendothelial system, RES, that is intended to recycle iron on a daily basis. I refer to RES as the recycling system. Due to the vacuous presence of bioavailable copper, iron ends up getting sequestered, stuck, and stored in what are known as recycling macrophages, the Pac-Man of the body. Based on the pioneering research of Nancy Andrews, MD, PhD, Duke, Rebecca King, MD, Mayo Clinic, and Marianne Wesling-Resnick, PhD, Harvard, this dysfunction in the daily iron recycling program is now theorized to be the metabolic origin for over 100 autoimmune conditions that have been escalating during the last 40 years. The similar spiral of malabsorption syndromes, such as small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, leaky
Uh-oh.
gut, Crohn's disease,
Pay attention. Here we go.
and colitis that have occurred during the same period are all caused by excessively high iron levels in the intestinal cell.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Why we told you wait a minute? Because if you don't be patient and you don't listen, you won't glisten. Why we listening to this white man all long time? Huh? Guess what? We listening to the end of the chapter because guess what? You probably never thought why you had stomach issues was because you had too much iron. SIBO? Leaky gut? Because of too much iron? Come on now. You would have never imagined that in your entire life. And I'm going to rewind it for you. That's why we waited to the end. Why we listen to this white man so long? Yeah, because he's boring like we're in school. Oh, listen, yeah, you in school. Huh? Oh, you just want to hear about deep lessons. Oh, what's going on with Iran? Okay, we're gonna listen to that too. But you want to be living to be able to listen to the prophecies. Huh? Hey, that's it. That's it. Let's bring it back. You want to get healthy or not? They telling you, oh, you got this and you got that, and you didn't know your anemia was because not just because you missing iron in the blood. You got iron in the tissue, and the copper is the issue because you don't have it in your body. Let's bring it back with the gut. I know you tired of that cortisol stomach. Let me tell you, we're going to tell you how to get rid of that cortisol stomach, men and women. First, you start taking your behind the bed and start watching them series like me at night, because I'm guilty of it. Take your butt to bed before 12 so your body won't be too stressed. Your stress levels won't be too high with your cortisol. And you like eating that ice cream at night like me. I like eating that organic ice cream out. So because I like eating it late, I try to work harder in the day because that's just what I like. I like to eat ice cream and cookies at night. But I try to make sure I do something before I eat it so my body, my muscles can take it in. But also, if you don't go to sleep a little early enough, you will have high cortisol levels on top of not having that copper in your body. On top of having high inflammation all day and nothing to take it away. Oh, you ain't taking your collagen. You ain't eating enough collagen. You ain't eating enough protein. You ain't taking your copper, your magnesium. Your inflammation will be at an all-time high. And inflammation starting in the gut. And when the gut have inflammation, the body have inflammation. Oh, your knee still got pain. This and that got pain. The gut is not able to process it to get it to the knee because you ain't taking collagen. Collagen will be left over as peptides, 10%. Okay, after being broken down to amino acids to go and fix these areas in your body. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Let's fix it. See, I'm a different type of dude. Before I know I'm finna eat something sweet, I'm finna hop down. He'll be a 50 to 100 push-ups. It's going straight to the muscle now. I know how this works. I've been doing this a long time. Oh man, I'm finna eat me about whatever this organic dessert that my daughters and my wife gonna make. Hold up, let me hit about 200 push-ups real quick. Boom, it's going to the muscles, not the fat. Straight up.
Dysfunction in the daily iron recycling program is now theorized to be the metabolic origin for over 100 autoimmune.
Look, you gonna have sisters up in that joint. Hold up, baby, let me get my ice cream. They gonna be doing squats and all of that. Your husband is like, girl, what you doing up in there? Yeah, I'm trying to do my squats. My elder say, got to do my squats so I can eat my ice cream. Hey, you got to just do more than squats every blue moon. You need to start working out on a regular basis. and also, as you're older, it's not about the more you do. Really, as you're 35 and older, to be honest, a Monday, Wednesday, Friday workout is going to fare you better because you'll have too much inflammation in the body. You need more time to recover. Take those active rest days in between, okay? Walking, jumping jacks, whatever the case may be, not to where you burn out. You need to, it takes you longer to recover. Once you get your body where you want it, your metabolism back, then you can do it a little longer if you choose to. 35 and older, more like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of workout, not too much reps like we used to do when we was young, okay? Not that you can't do it once you get to where you're going to be, but you have to pay attention to your gut, all right?
Conditions that have been escalating during the last 40 years. The similar spiral of malabsorption syndromes, such as small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO,
Listen.
leaky gut, Crohn's disease, and colitis that have occurred during the same period.
Colitis. Too much iron in the body, your body is oxidizing and rusting away. You thought copper wasn't that important. We're bringing it to you now. The Most High have blessed us with constant research. It even helps us to get better. Why would we not share it with the people? Why would the shepherds not share it with the people? And we learn every day. Whatever we learn to say, hey, tone that down, take more of this, add, we're going to get you right like a kite in the wind blowing to the east. Don't worry about it.
Are all caused by excessively high iron levels in the intestinal cells, called enterocytes, that disable proper mineral and energy metabolism. Iron that does not get properly absorbed, meaning released into the blood, festers in the gut tissues, causing iron-induced oxidative stress. Furthermore, doctors do not understand that excess iron causes copper to become less bioavailable and functional. That is the real issue underlying what doctors erroneously diagnose as anemia and invariably leads to a recommendation of increasing iron uptake through foods, oral supplements, and/or intravenous iron transfusions. This anemia dynamic is not iron deficiency, but is more accurately called iron dysfunction that leads to
Not iron deficiency, iron dysfunction. Do we need to take iron? Of course, especially those of you who are not eating enough iron. Your body's just not going to just make iron, but you do need to have iron. That's why we sell the iron fish if people don't like to eat red meat. But you do need to have some iron, and more so a bioavailable iron. But when you're taking iron, you need to have consistent copper. It's crazy how copper works. You need such a small amount of copper. But if it's not consistent, that's where the issue comes in. It's more with copper about consistency. Let me tell you, it's crazy because how we're in captivity, for example. It's the small things by not listening to our God that all of this big stuff happened. Of us not being consistent with the small things that matter. Like getting into the kingdom. It's not about who got the deepest doctrine. It's about who can be consistent with the basic commandments. It's not about who got the next precept or next with it. That's cool. Oh, man, you deep. And you still don't get in. You arguing about being deep. This is not that and that's not. Who gives a damn? I sure don't. Can you love your neighbor as you love yourself? Can you forgive? Can you shut up when it's time to shut up and be humble? And be quiet and learn to listen more than speaking. Learn to stay in the background. I could do the work in the background. I'm cool. I'm good. I'm still going to be the man the Most High told me to be, period. Whatever I do going to still be great regardless of that. I don't have to be in the front seat. I'm okay with following great men of the Most High. Are you? So you got to ask yourself these things.
Anemia of chronic inflammation. The real issue is a lack of bioavailable copper, not a lack of iron, because copper is essential to activate ferroportin, the only known exporter of iron from cells into the blood. The protein ferroportin and its mechanisms for iron egress requires ferrooxidase activity that is only derived from multi-copper oxidase enzymes.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Let me rewind it for you. You need to pay attention to this. It cannot even be transported without copper. By default, you're going to deal with anemia issues, blood issues, blood regulation issues, all that without copper.
Iron dysfunction that leads to anemia of chronic inflammation. The real issue is a lack of bioavailable copper, not a lack of iron, because copper is essential to activate ferroportin, the only known exporter of iron from cells into the blood.
The only known exporter from iron cells in the blood. Yes, we do sell colloidal copper. Yes, I have to label it not for human consumption. I have to. Okay, I have to label all of those good things on there not for human consumption. But I do sell it on lionsHomestead.com. Right? The ferroportin depends on copper.
The protein ferroportin and its mechanisms for iron egress requires ferrooxidase activity that is only derived from multi-copper oxidase enzymes. Finally, the switch to measuring iron status via hemoglobin, which was the norm from 1860 until 1972, to measuring serum blood ferritin levels is another major disruption to properly understanding the dynamic between copper and iron. Ferritin, the known iron storage protein, is meant to be inside cells, not outside cells in the blood. Ferritin is only found in the blood when there is rising inflammation in the tissue, by which time a patient's health status has already been seriously disrupted. That basic fact is not taught properly and completely to doctors, which is leading to an alarming increase in recommendations for iron supplementation. What may come as a surprise is that ferritin in the blood is an empty shotgun shell, and the serum ferritin has very little, if any, iron. Please note the iron has already been discharged into the organs, usually the lysosomes of the liver cells prior to the secretion of the ferritin into the blood, and the iron that remains accumulates and then goes on to cause chronic inflammation in that organ. Given all of the above, it's no wonder that we as a nation, and as a world population for that matter, are excessively sick and exceedingly tired, and that modern medicine has such an incomplete understanding of these key mineral/metal dynamics, especially when it comes to improving our health and energy levels.
Isn't that something? The irony of that? Iron is supposed to be used for energy, but it's making us sick, giving us chronic inflammation in the gut, in the organs, without copper being used to push the exporter, to get it out of those tissues, get it out and help to balance it in the body, to regulate it. So we need the iron to make us not tired, but it is making us tired when we don't have the copper. Look at that. I hope you enjoyed this lesson tonight. We're getting ready to open up the calls really quick.
It's time for us to get off this fast track to inflammation and recognize that so much of what we have been told about health and how to achieve and maintain it is incomplete and myth-guided. Thus, the premise for my notion that we have been misled and misfed. In order to reverse this trend, we need to move away from these untruths and myth-truths and replace them with proven scientific facts. Let's start our deep dive towards doing so by exploring how our body really makes energy, which happens to be the focus of the next chapter.
So in a few weeks, I will come back on, and I will bookmark the highlights of chapter 3. Okay, but I wanted to play the rest of chapter 2 because I knew it had a lot of vital information for you. But I would only pick the highlights of chapter 3 when it comes to the iron in a few weeks. Okay, because I need to go through a few things when it comes to a new land class, a new land lesson, when it comes to just different things, to help people out with that. I got a few things I need to go into with that to help people. But I'm gonna go ahead and open up. The call-in number is 512-915-7135. I hope I can get, as many calls as I can get. We'll open the lines for about 10 minutes. And go ahead and ask your questions if you have them now. And if you don't call in tonight and you leave me a text message, I will get to it. I can't promise you I'm gonna get to it ASAP, but I get to it when I can. And I can't promise you. Some people be calling me 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, thinking I'm about to answer this phone. This phone is for call-in numbers for the show. All right. So and I want to help. as many people as possible. All right. So once again, if you want to call in, if not, then I'm gonna go eat my good food and try to watch my series so I can get to bed on time. All right. So I've been out in the garden all day planting trees and teaching the children what I need to do. But man, this lesson, oh man, guys, we're only on chapter 2. We're only on chapter 2. We're only on chapter 2. He got straight to the point. All right. Can you get the same benefits? Great question. Louis Viewy. All right. So if you don't call in, I'll try to answer some of these questions as well on the chat. But it would be better if you guys call in 512-915-7135. Louis Viewy. I hope I got that right. Hope I didn't butcher that. Can you get the same benefits for wearing copper? No, you cannot. Okay. You can't. That's a no. All right. That may help with some inflammation a little bit, but not like that. All righty. 310 area code. Please turn me off in the background. It sounds crazy.
Sorry. I didn't think he was going to answer that quick.
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Not too good.
Okay.
This is 2 questions. You said the minerals, fungi, amino acids, and then there was one more thing that it was 4 items that you mentioned together, and I missed that 4th one.
What are we talking about? When did I mention that? You talking about something I was drinking or just something we need in general?
Something we need in general.
Yeah, more than likely that was. You still got me in the background. Hopefully you can mute me in the background.
Oh, I don't have you on. Let me just cut it off altogether.
Okay.
It's off. It's off.
All right.
I'll just set it down.
That's going to be copper, magnesium, iodine, and collagen. And like I said, I have those on 2 sites, some on LionsHomestead.com, some on KIIYSupplements.com. The iodine and the collagen is on KeySupplements.com, and the copper is on LionsHomestead.com, and the magnesium is also on Key. So yeah.
I already put the copper in my cart. And so what, I would just put a couple of drops. Somebody could put a couple of drops in some water or something.
So I'm going to tell you what I do, because I can't tell people how to take any of this stuff because I'm not a doctor. So for example, I was drinking my tea on the show. Usually my wife is always putting my 4 drops of selenium drops, which helps with the thyroid, with the iodine, helps to activate that iodine. She'll put the 4 drops of selenium. She'll put just a few drops of iodine in there. And she may put my little mushroom powder because it helps with candida and stuff like that in there. She puts my collagen in there. And I take 6 scoops because I need a lot because I work out. So I take 6 scoops of that. And then I have my copper like morning and night. I take about 2 tablespoons in the morning, 2 tablespoons at night, if not more. But I started off with 1 teaspoon. So, and that's it.
Okay. I'm having all out the blue, having problems with my respiratory system. So now I've been going back and forth to the doctor. I've been on this albuterol, on the nebulizer, and I can't catch my breath. And I don't have asthma. I don't have COPD. I caught somebody's virus. Somebody was sick, and it was on me that I wasn't taking my vitamin C correctly, and grapeseed extract and Lugol's iodine. I wasn't on point, and I did catch that virus, and I was sick. And then I got better. I was fine, and then I went to work, and it just went into something else where I can't breathe. So
kind of like a low level pneumonia and things like that.
My lungs are totally clear.
Really?
I took an X-ray. Yes, I took an X-ray. My lungs are clear. And I went to the doctor today. I was like, well, maybe you can, try another antibiotic. And she was like, well, no, because there's no congestion in your chest. I said, okay, but you see, I can't breathe, and my oxygen was below the normal.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. There's a few things that we do when we can't figure something out. We parasite cleanse, and
you get inflammation. I got them 3.
Yeah, we parasite cleanse, for like maybe 1 to 3 weeks, and depending on each person and what you use, we parasite cleanse, and you take a binder usually when you parasite cleanse. My binder I like to take is kefir because it when those parasites leave off with toxins and they bring out more babies, they cause allergic reactions. So the kefir puts back bacteria inside of the gut, and it also binds some of these toxins out of the body. And I also like to take an allergy pill when I parasite cleanse because I got a protocol, and I'm not saying it works or not, but because I can't say that on here, but it helps when these parasites die and leave off babies. So it's a protocol from a doctor that Elder Rawchaa gave me a while back. So for the histamines, for the antihistamines. So when you're dealing with something you don't know, like I like the parasite cleanse, and then you got to think about it. If you're not taking on a consistent level what you should be taking, obviously, like you just said, things can happen. If I'm not taking, for example, the number 1 mineral in the world, copper, if I'm lacking magnesium, 500 milligrams a day, if I'm not taking iodine on the regular basis, if I don't have my protein levels high, like my collagen, and just eating high protein diets that help to regulate hormones and things like that, then I'm going to be having some type of issues or some type of attacks that's going to come on me. So that's your physical armor when you take those things. Okay?
I did write it in big letters, must not stop. When you said it, I was like, correct. And I'm glad you said that, because that's it. We easily stop, when we know it took that long for us to get in that state. It takes just as long for us to come out of that state.
And it's no blame on us. Listen, we were not taught to be consistent as a people. So I'm more so putting it out there as motivation and encouragement and trying to get us on something. A lot of us work. We trying to get out of these curses and do what we got to do, but we want to make sure we're alive to be able to do whatever we can be able to do. But go ahead.
And I don't want to take up too much time, but I do have 2 more questions. One really quick. Did you say it was called Hugo's Gardening?
Hugo Culture. Let me put it inside of the chat. All right, because it's like a different type of that way. Here we go. It's German, so I'm just gonna put it in the chat.
Okay, I cut it all the way off.
And I even started planning my. Oh man, why did it put it in there like that? It messed up the way I wrote it. 1 second here. Let me see if I can. Why did it do that? It's like huge. HUGELKUTUR. But if you just type in Hugo, like HUGO on Google, you'll find it.
Okay.
It'll still give you the correct spelling. And start watching those, people on YouTube or whatever. And like I said, some people do their fruit trees like that. I do too. You know what I mean? So.
Did you plant all your fruit trees yourself?
Yes.
I'm moving to the farm next year, and I plan on having every fruit tree.
You got a man to help you?
You know what? I ain't gonna lie. I think I might have to hire one.
There you go.
I have to have one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to hire one though.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, my sister. I'm just making sure because a lot of sisters get on that form. Hey, you need it's back-breaking work. So
I gotta have help.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is my last one. My brother is he was a chronic drinker. He say he's not drinking. I don't totally believe him. But I'm looking at him. I'm just like, you need to detox. His eyes, his teeth, his stomach. He looks like he's about to bear twins. And so I want to know: do you sell a detox that I can buy for him to take?
Yeah,
the prescription I gave.
I have something called Max Detox on Key. I have something called Max Detox, and I have something else on there. I forget what it's called, and he would have to also start taking the enzymes before he eats. On Lion's Homestead, I also have oregano oil. I have a seed of strength oil that helps to deal with those little critters in there. So I have on both sites some things you can look at.
Okay, Max Detox, enzymes, and oregano oil.
Yeah.
That should cover it.
Now I have one of the best things in the world on there, but I can't talk about that on the phone. So you just have to do the research on it. It's the water purification, and it's called chlorine dioxide. And you go look that up on Rumble and see how they're using that. But I can't be responsible for telling you how to use that legally. But that right there is, I don't care what they put out there. That one right there is over all of them. So, but. Yes, ma'am.
Right. Thank you so much.
No problem, my sister.
Have a great evening.
You too now. Shalom. Yeah, I can't be responsible for telling people what to do with that water purification there. But I'm going to tell you right now, if people only knew what that was, I'm going to tell you right now. Let me see something. If people only knew. One second here. This is what I'm going to do for you. I put a link in here for CD testimonials. Don't come on here asking me how to use it. You're going to have to do your research. Look that up for the water purification. And guess what? You'll be shocked. All right? Chlorine dioxide testimonials. Abdominal pains, abscess, acid reflux, acne, blah, 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 addiction, Addison's disease, ADHD, adrenaline fatigue, adrenal gland, allergies, Alzheimer's, blah, 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 blah. Look. On animals. On and on and on. All of this stuff down here. On and on and on. You thought I would. Let me tell you something, man. When y'all think I'm slipping, you tripping. When y'all think I'm slipping, you tripping. The Most High gives us wisdom. If you study and do what you're supposed to do and stay on your game, I'm going to tell you right now. See, Christ is the water of life. And a lot of the water they got out there with this plastic and stuff they got us drinking, it ain't pure, clean, spring, nice, clean water. Christ is that everlasting living water. And when your water in your body is clear, your blood is clean, that's what that water purification is really about. See what I'm talking about? Yes, indeed. But I can't tell you how it's done. You're going to have to use your faith and your works to go in there, because I got to be able to continue the mission to teach. But listen, we can go on and on and on and on. Listen, we can go on and on and on and on. Y'all thought it was a game, didn't you? See, if you doubt me, you might as well out me. Because whatever I speak, you know what I mean, it's undoubtedly. I'm going to tell you right now. Look at that. We can go to A through Z. Go to the link. 931 area code. But look, we go to A through Z. See, those who think I don't know my stuff, get out of here. See, because guess what? I came in the name of the Lord, Ahaya Bahasham Yeshaya. Praise the Most High, man. Y'all check that out. All jokes aside. All right. Hello.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was just gonna ask you something. I ordered off your website today some of that vitamin B complex.
Yep.
And some magnesium, because my 12-year-old autistic son, I don't know what it is. I kind of think he's doing it on purpose, as weird as this sounds. He is throwing up everything. And from what I read, like a combination of those two things should stop that, or at least cease that. Please tell me I'm right on that.
You said a combination of those two things should stop that. I mean, if you read it, you got to have more than one source to make sure that. So if you read it,
I read it on a few different things. I mean, I read it on your website and a few other things that are totally different. So I mean, because I really don't have the knowledge of this stuff like I should. You know what I mean?
Well,
And,
you said he's throwing up, and you're trying to get something to stop him from throwing up. Correct me if I'm wrong again.
yeah, it's like every time I feed this man, it's just and I mean he's nonverbal and stuff, so it's like he doesn't just it's like a spit up. It ain't a projectile vomit. It's just a spit up, and then he starts playing in it. It's really disgusting. I hate it. I want it to stop.
Well, have you taken him to a doctor to see outside of that what it could be, maybe? I know just to see at least.
I can tell you that his mama had stomach issues and was vomited in trash bag. It was like this green bile, and
Okay.
nothing they did ever made anything better. It was just take this, take that, and
It sounds like a gut issue or a ulcer issue or something's going on with the gut or the organs. You have to go and see what it is, maybe get a blood test or see what it is so you can know how to diagnose it, because you'll just be guessing. Because the only thing I can really tell you here is, hey, try to get the gut right. Usually once the gut's right, everything else is right. Like a high kefir diet, like raw milk, high kefir. Have you tried raw milk kefir at all?
Milk is actually illegal around here. There's Amish that sell, like their own milk. They have to pasteurize it. They don't put all the poisons that the store milk, at the grocery store has, but they have to pasteurize it. Like they flat out said, it's illegal for me to sell you raw milk. We give it to our family, but that's it.
Well, they can't donate it. You can't trade. Hey, you trade me this. I trade that as a gift. Because because you can get some kefir from the store as a start, just to start getting the gut right, start making your own yogurt at home and see how that helps. But you can get some kefir grains and start making your own kefir too. That's a try. It's a far cry because you may be looking for something instant, but I definitely would try to see, hey, what's going on first? Is there an ulcer? Is there something going on with the gut? And then I can know how to come with it from there, if you get what I'm saying. But for sure, gut-friendly foods usually heals the body. I'm talking about kombucha. I'm talking about sauerkraut. I'm talking about like I said, kefir, raw milk, whatever you can get, yogurt. The gut-friendly foods, very, very, very important. More than anything when it comes to something like that, honestly. Obviously, you got to get you some copper. Obviously, you got to get you the minerals, making sure he has the proper minerals when it comes to that. And I definitely would make sure you detox from time to time when it comes to heavy metals and things like that. That's why I had put that link on there. Look up that link that I just put on there. Did you see it on the screen?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I just kind of clicked in like 20 minutes ago. I wish I had.
It's okay.
I missed most of really all the show. I missed it.
All right. Did you? But that link is a powerful link. Okay, it is a powerful link, and you're gonna have to go into it. You're gonna have to go to YouTube. You're gonna have to go on Rumble, go on Facebook, find whatever videos you can find on it for things that you're saying right now when it comes to autism, different things like that. I'm gonna send the link again on the show. Check it out. Find what you're dealing with. Look at other people's testimonials. Go into it and pray about it. Get whatever advice you need to get. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is contrary to all belief, unless it's a doctor that's online that's dealing with it. You can't go into the wrong facility talking about this, brother, or you might not be able to take care of your son. That's how deep it is.
I know they already don't. They already don't like me because I don't go along with every little thing they
you ain't got to say that on here. We don't want to identify you who they don't like. So I'm just saying, just check that link out, and then just do your research. Try to get some gut friendly foods and start there. Heavy metal detox, or whatever the case may be. Regular iodine levels, or see, iodine is a normal thing, a part of the body. And it normally by itself takes out heavy metals. So, but like I said, even with that, you got to know how much to take. You got to do a little research, and you got a book called The Iodine Crisis. On my site, we tell you how to kind of guide you to take it or whatever the case may be with that book as a reference. So please check those things out, and I'm sure it will help you out a whole lot. But like I said on this show, one thing I would always do, am I taking the number one missing mineral, copper? Am I taking the number two missing thing, magnesium? Am I taking number three, iodine, collagen for the gut, L-arginine for the gut, gut-friendly foods? Just trying to get that. And if you can't afford them, the main thing you can do is start learning how to make gut-friendly foods at home. All right?
Appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Can I just ask you one more question? This is just your opinion. This is just your opinion. But those little ionic foot things that supposedly suck out the heavy metals through your feet with the water plugged up and the salt. What's your opinion on those things?
Well, it's more than one way to catch a fish. There's different types of bait. So I'm not going to shun something until I see the proof. If it's proof of it. So because they got food grade hydrogen peroxide that does things. They got all type of things that does things. It's what you choose. It all leads to the same path if you're consistent with whatever you choose. So tonight, mine is just one of the things, but there's other herbs, there's other things that people take and use that deal with them. I'm only going to tell you what I know and what I deal with, but I wouldn't knock that, because I've seen people who soak their feet in certain things, and I mean, I can't talk about some of the stuff people soak their feet in and take baths with, and then they don't have these issues no more. So that's why I chose that, like I said, that link that I put in the chat, because there's a lot of testimonies for a reason on it. So, all right. I got to get to the next call, though, my brother.
Thank you so much, sir.
My man. Yes, sir. All right. Shalom. We got 914.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, man.
Shalom. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
So I was calling because I want to see if I can help my father. Can any of this stuff he could take on dialysis?
Well, like I said,
in your opinion,
I can't get my opinion on that one. What you can do is we got the good old Google button, or you got the testimonial button. I mean, you can look it up and see have other people did it. I would go with that. And last but not least, always have a doctor if you need to really know about that, because you don't want to put something in somebody that they depend on something and then they become worse. So, right. but I'm gonna tell you something. The body needs minerals through diet and supplementation. So sometimes people think we've been so lost and gone, and I can't blame our people. We think taking minerals and supplementation is like taking a medicine, but you do want to make sure that does it complement, like you said, what's going on with the person. But if you eat food and there's copper in it, you're getting copper. If you eat food with iodine in it, you're going to get iodine. But that's if the food has it. So if God put it in the food, it really can't necessarily harm the body, but it's still good to just make sure. Right?
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Everything I've named tonight, the body needs it every day. Everything I've named tonight, the body needs it every day. It actually heals the body. It's in the herbs. It's in certain things. But we don't know how much we're getting in the herbs anymore because the food is weak. So that's why there's supplementation now, or whatever the case may be. So, all you can do is try and take a little time out first to see, with each person.
Yes, thank you. Because I was telling him that you need to change your eating habits first.
Oh, yeah.
Start there.
You told him what Christ would say. Be it unto you as it is your faith. So that means, hey, start here. If you got the faith to want to heal, you got to start there, what you put in your body. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you told them right. You got to start with that diet, because the gut is a second brain. It's what pumps hormones. It's what causes inflammation in the body. The stomach is where the parasites want to be, because they're trying to break down food, and we're feeding them because we got leftover bowel movements just sitting in there because it ain't moving. It's like we got to get that part together. So you told them right. Eat some gut healthy, friendly foods, high protein, low carbohydrate diet, healthy fats, and you're going to be on your way.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Bless.
Have a good night.
You too now. Bless. Shalom, Elder. How many ppms are in colloidal copper? On the bottle it says copper with distilled water. I'm asking because I'm 135, 5'1". Usually, and it's not always exact, it could be 1 ppm or more. Usually with our copper, we do about 20. And I can tell you something. You can do 10 in copper, but 20 seems to be a really good marker for me. Well, I'm not on the phone. I'm acting like I'm on the phone, but I'm trying to answer this person's question here. It's a pretty good marker to make, like for instance, I'm 200 and I don't know if I'm 218 a night or 225. I go up and down. But I'm taking listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm probably taking 2 to 4 tablespoons morning and night at this point. So, cause I do a lot. But to maintain for maintenance, if I wasn't doing all I was doing, a tablespoon morning and night for my size. But for a person, if I was smaller like my kids, maybe a teaspoon or 2 morning and night. You just got to fill it out to see. You know what I mean? So the great part about colloidal copper, if you study it, if you don't need it, you'll urinate it out. That's why I love it. If your body doesn't need it, you'll urinate it out. Some of this other stuff, for me personally, I just felt a little different. So that's why I just didn't want to take those, right? Yeah. So, but if we don't have any more callers, you know what I mean? We're going to get ready to get out of here. I'm going to scroll through to see if we have some more questions. But yes, our copper is anywhere from 20 to 30 maximum. Perfect, perfect zone, 20 to 30. All right. It's just about the consistency of it. So it looks like we got one more caller. It's getting late. 713. Last call for the night. Shalom. Shalom.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Well, good. My name is Stephen. I'm from Minneapolis.
Okay.
My grandson, I need a good vitamin for him. He's 9 years old. A multivitamin or some kind of vitamin.
Okay. I really don't sell vitamins specifically for children. But I give my children my supplements, but I don't sell them specifically for children. That's a grown-up's choice. But they take my green powder. I mean, they I give them what I feel like they can deal with on there. So you just got to make that choice for yourself. I don't sell them for children on there. They take my copper. They take all of this stuff, but that's me. So I can't tell you, what to do with that. So they take my green powder. I mean, they could take my moringa, whatever the case is. They take my collagen, my creatine. I give creatine anywhere down for my 4-year-old. So you got to make that choice. So okay. You can Google it and see what's safe and what's not, and then you make that choice. But I stay away from selling certain things for children because of lawsuits and people trying to scam and lie. So I just don't even do it no more. You know.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What about for adults? Like I'm been working out. I need to lose my gut, but I'm about 220, 5'10", 220, and I want something. I know you sell. I'm trying to look at your website. I wanted to get some of your copper, and which one? You sell like 3 of them kinds of copper on the website, right?
I sell colloidal copper, gold, and silver. But the copper is more so necessary for the body. That's on lionsHomestead.com.
Okay.
lionsHomestead.com. And the other things, like when it comes to herbal things and sports nutrition and supplements, that's on KIIY supplements.com. And like I said, the number one missing thing we're talking about tonight is copper. Number 2 is magnesium. That'll be on key. Number 3 is iodine. Number 4, I would say collagen, that if you're 35 and over, you're going to have gut inflammation if you don't get 30% of your amino acids from collagen. So I drink bone broth every morning to get extra collagen, and then I drink my tea and put 6 scoops of collagen in my tea. You don't have to put that much, but I do. And then I drink tea again and put 6 more scoops in there, or I might put it in a yogurt smoothie or something with the collagen. So
now your copper is that a liquid or is it a?
It's like distilled water and then colloidal copper that we make.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you recommend you using all 3 or using one or the other? How do you?
You talking about as far as what? You talking about the colloidal copper and silver?
Yes.
Oh, I take 3. I take 3 morning and night. That's what I do. I'm gonna actually go into gold and silver on the whole lesson to show you what they do, but it's serious. It's like when it comes, listen, those are powerful. I take all 3, but you could just deal with the copper. But I take all 3 morning and night. Amazing. Okay. So.
It's good to take it with breakfast, or I mean, with the meal or without.
That don't matter. For me, for my body, I take it first thing in the morning. Like the first thing in the morning, I'm up. I'm taking colloidal copper, gold, silver, and then obviously I have electrolytes formula in there. I have my little fungus, mushroom powder in there, and it all tastes amazing. Like, and I take that in the morning to wake up. Then I take hot bone broth. I eat me some yogurt with some fruit, and maybe some eggs and stuff like that. And then after that, I go to the gym. I come back home, I eat me a steak or some ground beef burger, something like that. I take my my collagen in my tea with my iodine and my selenium. May put some more mushroom powder in there, maybe. And then again at dinner, and sometimes I may have a smoothie or something like that, or a protein shake, and I may add my collagen. It all depends on my day, but that's for the main part. That's what I do. I do take other supplements like ultra testosterone. It's a herbal testosterone when I get to the gym, and beetroot for the nice pump. I take NAD. I take NMN for the gut. So I take some more things like if I need it. Like if I need vitamin D plus K2 because I didn't have fermented food or the clouds is out, I would take vitamin D. So I have extra things I take when I need them. You know what I mean? So but the main things that I named to you, you can go back on the show and listen to what I said and kind of take notes from there. But because those main things are very, very, very important. I do take B12 drops. I mean, I take that too in my tea.
Huh. You put creatine, something that you would use in a like a smoothie or something like that?
I put it, sometimes I just throw it in my mouth and drink it, or I mean with the water, or I put it in water, or I put it in juice, or I put it in a smoothie. Yeah, but creatine, I'm going to have to go into another lesson on that because it's more than just muscle. It comes with people who deal with, what do you call that, Alzheimer's and things like that. It prevents a lot of these things and helps people with allegedly helps, children, production in the brain. I mean, it's powerful. So yeah, I take that with whatever I need to.
And where you say you can get the magnesium, you have to go to Key Supplements.
Yeah. And I like taking the powder at night because I don't like taking too many pills, so I like taking the powder at night. And if I need the magnesium glycinate in the morning, if I feel like, okay, I done drunk a little beer or wine or something with my dinner, I may take a little bit of the magnesium glycinate in the morning. Or if I do need to take the powder in the morning, because the powder one will make you tired, so I might take a little bit just to get it in me. So I got a lot of different ways that I know how to do things and you know, each day, you know what I mean? But I'm very consistent with whatever I do or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the moringa is a good something like for energy or something like that?
The moringa is perfect for energy, but I also have it for people some people just want to take the moringa tablets, and I also have it inside of my Lion's Brew tea that I drink every day. So I tried to formulate that tea. It's a beautiful anti-inflammation tea, and we got moringa in there too. We got dandelion in there. I mean, on Lion's, that's a powerful tea, man. That thing make you go to the bathroom every morning. That tea it's a worldwide powerful, famous tea now, and you know, we brought it out because the coffee can make a person's stomach stick out because of cortisol issues. So I gave it as a coffee alternative, or people can add it to their coffee. So.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, I appreciate all that information. You know, I listen to you every night, and I appreciate you every week, and I really appreciate what you do, the sacrifices that you make.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, sir. I do it for Christ's people, sir.
Well, that's a blessing.
My brother, man. You have a blessed one, and I'm going to keep you in prayer, okay?
All right. Shalom.
My man. Shalom. All right. So I think this is from Philadelphia here. Last call of the night. Who we got?
How you doing, Elder?
I'm blessed. I'm all right.
Hey, this has nothing to do with questions, but I've been trying to get to the Philly church. I'm in Reading, Pennsylvania, which is about, I want to say an hour and a half away from Philly. And by the way, my name is Grayson Lynch. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
But I've been following you for the past year.
Okay.
And for the past couple of years, I've been trying to reach out by email to the Philly church. I'm from South Carolina, and I did go to the church in New Jersey,
okay,
which is Elizabeth. That one is closed down now, but they have a strict rule where you have to go to the church closest to where you live. So I would like your help with that. I don't know how to reach you. I do follow you on TikTok also.
Well,
but I would like to give you my personal number. I don't know how to do that.
Just send me a text on here, and I'll get it to one of the bishops in the area, and then they'll reach out to you.
I don't have a car yet, though. I don't drive, but it's somebody that's willing to bring me out there.
Okay. Well, just give me your contact, and I'll get you to one of the leaders in that area over there, my brother.
And by the way, you got my fat butt off the chair, and I started working out. I was very sick. I'm going through some things right now with my kidneys and my lungs and my liver, which is well, my lungs is kind of off key, but hopefully we can speak. So I'll send you a text message with my name and number.
Okay, my brother. All right, I'm gonna try to.
Most High God continue to bless you, and thank you so much for what you do.
No problem. See, I'm glad you ain't emotional. See, you just kept it real. You say, man, you got my fat butt off the car. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's real. That's the first step in having faith, is putting the emotions to the side, because the devil wants you depressed. Oh, I can't believe he said that.
I was emotional at first. One night I was watching you say, you can't be a fat butt sitting on a chair. And I was going through some stuff like medical stuff, which I put on weight. I was 395 pounds. Now I was 295 pounds. Now I'm 267 pounds. So, and I don't have hanging fat. I just needed to get up, and I was a kickboxer, MMA fighter. So I have to do what I have to do.
It don't matter. Like, the main thing that we have to understand, whether we're in shade, we look good, look bad, regardless of whatever we're dealing with in life, everybody's struggle or learning lesson is different. It's never to to try to put people down, because listen, I'm a kind man. I understand Christ had compassion. If someone is going through something medically where they gain weight from that, I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about people who have they can do better, but they choose not to. People who want to do it and can't do it, how can they it's nothing they can do. They need prayer, and it takes time. So,
but I'm partially that person, Elder.
Okay.
I'm partially that person because I could have gotten up and shaved off the weight. I chose to sit around because a doctor told me to do so, and I started feeling sorry for myself.
That's where the devil wants you, my brother.
There are people out there that got one leg, one arm, but they doing construction in India. You see them all the time online.
Yeah.
Right? So if they can get up with one leg or one arm and work and do what they're supposed to do, then I can do it too. And you're one of the ones that motivate me for that, because like my mama said, God bless the dead. She's dead now. She said, son, feeling sorry for yourself solves nothing. Get up, get out and get something, like they say in California.
There you go. And I'm gonna tell you something. You hit some key. I remember when I tore my Achilles, I had to walk down long flight of stairs, but I made sure I kept working out on crutches. So I'm glad you said that, because that's just, each person got different faith, but that comes from Christ. I try to just spread it, and for those who have ears to hear. It look like you heard it, my brother. Praise the Most High. So listen, leave me your text message, and I will send it to one of the bishops over there and see, can we get you, visited in the church over there, all right?
I will keep this short and sweet. I need to speak to you, Elder.
All right.
If you don't mind.
Okay, my brother.
Okay, so it may not be tonight or tomorrow.
Okay.
But my name is Crayson Lynch, and you'll see my number from out here. I need that motivation and guidance, man. A lot of people on here, strangers and trolls, might think that you are harsh. You're not. Because although Christ had a kind heart, he did not sugarcoat things for anybody, period.
All praises. All
Bless
praises,
you. Have
my
a
brother.
good night. Shalom.
My man. Shalom. Shalom. Hey, man, listen. The Lion of Judah is rising. It ain't no surprising. We ain't walking around in disguises. Huh? Yeah. Pray to the Most High in the beautiful horizon. Yes, indeed. Hey, I love you all, man. Thanks for tuning in. We will have to do some giveaways next week because it's been long overdue. So we'll be doing some Bible trivia, whatever show we got next week. So get ready for that. We're gonna be doing a few giveaways. We're gonna be doing like 4 giveaways. So get ready. You understand? Eat your spaghetti. Make sure you got your precepts on point. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna keep you all in prayer. And I pray that everybody gets healed. They was motivated and encouraged. Share this with your loved one, with your family member. Make sure you watch part 1. And then you come back to this one, just do a little studying. And if you ever have any questions, you can call into the show. Stay tuned to our main channel tomorrow, A Gathering 144. And then after that, come back here to G.O.C.C. Media with our brother Deacon Hazak. Then come back to the main channel on Friday, A Gathering 144 with our elders again. And obviously Saturday on that main channel. And Sunday, we are on historytimes.org on our Hebrew and Bible Academy. Peace and blessings. We got to stay focused. We don't give a damn about no negativity, about none of that, because this is going to keep moving and it ain't going to stop. That's what it is. We don't care about what ain't.
The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that he used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
truth of your book. And the truth